going on, wrestling card collectors and memorabilia collectors and all things wrestling and collectibles? Welcome back to yet another episode of the 3 Count Show. What are we up to? 3 now? Is this our third one?
Well,
we're third one in the new name.
It's been called 3 Count. I mean, we've been
Yes,
doing it
well,
for years now.
Well, 2 years now. It's like that.
Yeah.
But once
Every
again,
month
join again with my good friend, Mr. Price Guide himself, Mr. Paul Anand. How are you, sir?
You know, dude, I've had better weeks, I have to admit.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
All good in the wrestling card world. If anyone's wondering, like a bonehead, I had an accident at the gym and I broke a portion of my foot this week. Luckily, I'm not in the cast. But
that's shocking to me, actually. With the pictures you showed to me and what you told me was wrong, I'm actually quite shocked they haven't put a cast or boot on you just like that. That's just shocking to me.
Well, it isn't getting better each day is the problem. You know what I mean? So, let's see, I'm seeing a specialist next week and that'll be that. But as I was telling my wife, it's like I'm at the age now where shit's just going to happen anyway. So I ought not to be doing anything to hasten any of it along. And this was 100% me making a rookie error at the gym, which I shouldn't have done. I dropped a weight, like a 45-pound weight on my foot,
Well, if you're going to do it again, make sure
if anyone listens
to a matching set.
This is who you're listening to. You're listening to a guy, that does this. So take everything I say with a grain of salt because,
He's getting old and senile, folks.
Yeah, I'm getting stupider as I get older. First rule of thumb, you lift the weight, you lift it away from the body, you lift it to the side. But my headset wasn't working, my mind was on God knows what, and boom, and as soon as it happened, I oh no, this isn't good. But anyways, you guys don't want to hear about that. You want to hear some exciting stuff that's happening in the wrestling card hobby. How are you, Tony Vela, before we get into that? All good at your end?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Store's running decently. It's a lot of stress, a lot of work. But doing pretty well. The hobby itself, we'll address it down later on in the episode here. It's like that. But let's get right into new releases, shall we?
Yeah, and of course there isn't a ton of new releases on the major front because we're in a sort of limbo vacuum era with Upper Deck and Panini. I mean, we expected Elite to come, and it may still, but we think that the relationship between WWE and Panini's fractured to the point now there won't be anything else from them, regardless of what happens in the courts.
Well, we should have. I mean, as of time of this recording, where they did release the checklist for Allure for Upper Deck. No, Allure for Upper Deck's AEW.
Right, yes. That checklist has been released, but that product hasn't come yet. So
but it should be coming around the corner then.
Yeah, that should be the next one, but we haven't had anything in the last month is the point. Is that the only new things were just a few independent releases, and I'll bang those off real quickly. The Waxateria guys, our friends Joe and Joe, 5 Tools and Goat Jerseys, they put out their second Waxateria set. I can't say much about it because I don't have mine yet, unfortunately. I
have mine, and I'm very.
So what did you talk about? I'm looking forward to getting them so I can do the flip through and look at them and say, "Hey, good job, guys." I'm sure they're awesome, but
they are awesome.
A bit of a skipping snafu or something that I got sort of have to
done
wait
very
on.
well, and I enjoyed them. I was lucky enough to get. They made a prismatic sticker of yours and I card from the first set, so I'm.
Did you get that?
I'm pretty happy to get that. Yep, I got one.
Can I buy it off you?
No, you can't. Then I won't have one.
All right.
Well,
how attached you were to it. That's all.
I'll tell you what. I'd be happy to trade you for if you get a Chuckster one. I'd like to have a Chuckster one.
Okay. Well, let's see. Like I say, they're not here yet, but I believe they're in transit now. Finally, so I'll let you know.
Interesting. So the checklist and the breakdown for it is all up on WTC. Once again, the 2 Joes sent over an amazing breakdown of the entire checklist. It's well written and put together. All the information's there, so it's a fun set, man. I really enjoyed it. I like the little box that they put in there. I like the little hot pack they put inside. It's like they get an actual hot pack. It's a fun set. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, so congratulations to those guys again, and like I say, I'm looking forward to doing it so I can get my flip through up. And congratulations, well done, guys. What else we got? 5 2 show Goat jerseys. 2023 XPW trading cards, little indie set. And again, when we talk about them being new on the month, it just means that either Price Guide or WTC's uploaded them for the first time. Some of these things might be 2, 3, 4 months old by this point, but by the time we get a full list and we get pictures, I think XPW has been around for a while. They were California based, and then I believe that COVID it kind of went away, and then it came back just recently. I believe they're out of Pittsburgh now. But again, we deal with a lot of cards, and that's when we talk to the Brotherhood, they stay on top of all that stuff. What IndieFed is releasing, what, and God bless Armand. He seems to be the guy directing traffic on all that and lets us know what's what and what's when. But he let me know about those. 2023 LGA cards official. Now, what's interesting about this dude's cards is that he's the guy that made a lot of custom sets along the way, but this is an actual official LGA cards release. And I think it's Sabu and some indie guys and stuff like that. Again, and the stuff we're talking about in absence of Panini and Upper Deck is going to be all indie and that kind of thing. But what else we got? I also made note that last month we talked about the Major Pod Networks, their FWF4 series Alive, but they also released, probably it might have even been sooner, but they released their second series of autographs. Matt and Brian, they did their series, and there was 21 cards there. And then lastly, I got a note all about that Ric Flair, that 2023 Celebrity Mint series.
Yeah.
What
Interesting.
that is, yeah, that that's a coin card. It's a multi-sport series like the Leaf sets, and what it is Flair and a couple of other sports people, and there was a gold card and a silver card, just a base, and then there was what they call the Cook Islands coin card, which was an actual coin in the card itself. Kind of neat. Like I say, we're going to talk a little bit more about Leaf down the way, but that kind of thing where they got one celebrity, and we keep track of that. If there's a Flair or a Hogan or a Cena or a Punk in a set, even if it's in a hockey card set, we make sure that you guys know about it. You know, because some people's going to say, "Hey, where's this card from?" And then if it's not from a Tops or an Upper Deck or whatever, that doesn't mean necessarily that you don't need to know about it. So that was that on the new releases. Your choice, man. You want to get into the index, or do you want to do the top sales?
Let's go into the index. I always like to keep the top sales, kind of like, second.
Okay.
Index is always fun.
And like it kind of not boring, but when we start pouring over numbers, we don't like to belabor it and go on and on. So it's sort of, here's the thing, here's what's going on next.
Yeah, we can pretty much go over this pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, there's no really need. I mean, nothing drastic has really changed.
No, the month pretty much stayed on even keel. 2021 AEW Hobby Box 68.45. It was $69, so essentially no change. 22 AEW Hobby Box, $60, up from 52, but I think it was around there the month previous.
Yeah.
So
here's the big change right here is the 2022 Panini Prism box.
Yeah, the 2022 the box, as I call it, the one that got all the shit started last year, 215, and it was rising up. It was north of 250 on an average, and we thought that that's where it was going to go, but it came down a little bit. But there's a couple of individual sales, one for 189, one for 196. And again, we often stress this. All it takes is one or two guys getting a deal, brings down our average, brings down what the average cost of the product is. But 215, do you think that drops below 200 again, Tony?
It's such a weird market right now. I know everybody talks about being a down market, and wrestling seems to be a bit more immune to the downward spiral of the entire hobby itself. But it's possible. I think it's totally within realm, but I still think it's going to probably sit around that 200 to 250 range, that $50 price differential right there from month to month. Like you said, it takes one or two boxes to hit, where someone got a great deal to lower the cost average, because the rest of them got over here were in that 230, 239 in that range like that. But yeah, I mean, 215, it's good. I mean, it's
we had
price.
more last month, 250, 250, 260 back in September. And like I said, those bring it up slightly. Not a vast difference, but enough of one that we mentioned that it's gone down slightly.
Potentially holiday season coming up too might have an effect, because no one's going to be spending a lot of money on cards, I think.
Yeah, it's funny when no one spends money at Christmas time, wrestling cards go down a little bit. But back up to where it should be, our 1985 Topps Hulk Hogan base card. It always sat in between $30 and $35. It slipped a little bit next month, but it averaged out this month at $32.74. So right back in line with where.
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, it's the fluctuation of a high price and a low price. I mean, we had one this past month that sold for $16. A guy got a great deal. Someone else paid 51. So I mean, that's kind of, it sets the average up a little bit higher slightly, but it's right back in line, kind of where it should be at.
We talk about that often, how that happens one day to the next, 1 hour to the next. That some guy might buy the same card and pay like twice than what the other guy did. I mean,
there's not. I mean, and nothing more evident than the next one, which is 91 WCW Impel set. So
correct. We only had two sales.
That.
So if someone would have went and spent $25, that would have been the average. We had two sales and they were low. One was 12, and check this out, dude, $5 for the entire set.
$5. Well,
I had to look at that again. Someone just throwing it away and say, whatever. So that brings the average rate down to $8.50, but that's not accurate. We know that that's a $20 set usually,
usually.
Years.
Even last month when we had another $5 sale last month too, but we still had sales of 40 and 25. And so I kept the average up to $20, but you know, only 2 sales for the month at 12 and
And the
$4.99.
$4.99 sale, they could have been torn to rat shit for all we know. Like again, I just quickly look, click, click, click. Oh, there's one, and plunk in the number. I don't sort of evaluate what it was, as long as it was the right thing. Oh, it was a complete
Yep,
set of
yep,
impels. There's my number.
yep.
2022 Panini Immaculate Hobby Box, which is sort of one I've paid particular interested in because I've been trying to put that base set together, and I'm happy to say only two to go. And
Nice.
I should be one to go, but I've missed out on Liv Morgan 3 or 4 times. And the last one, I put a $61 max, and it sold for 62, and that's often the case. But that does speak to what's going to happen to Panini product, so long as there's collectors in this world. You know,
Yep.
guys that are 2 away from a base set are going to buy the product. You know, and we talked about this with Mike that a lot of times there's some things that are just going to get money. They're always going to be in demand because there's just so little of them, right?
No, that could be said about anything as far as
Yeah,
collectibles go, or anything in life.
yeah, yeah. The good stuff sells.
Yep, the good stuff always sells.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, that average went down, Tony, to 454 from 474, a $20 drop. And we thought that was around a $500 box, but it might be a 450 box ultimately. The other thing though is that we know that people are still buying it, like it's an in-demand box. So I'm surprised that it's dropped a little more.
Yeah, but you know, there was less of them this month too to be
Right.
sold. So I mean, what, 1 box less than what we, you know, from the month before, but still it's going to be an in-demand box. I don't see this ever going, you know, below that 425 price point. I think as time goes on, this becomes one of those, again, it's just hard to come by,
Yeah,
and
quantities
stuff
are
that's,
finite. They're not going to be
yep.
kicking around as some of the other ones, you know, so
Well,
they're going to be harder to find. Like I'm sure when we do the national next year in Cleveland and we go look and we find one, it's going to be a lot more than this on the table.
I bet you're right.
Yeah. And lastly, the 2023 Panini Prism that we started doing just to compare it to the 2022.
2022.
And you know what? I don't have my notes here. Did I lose that? I
Well,
got
it's at 230 this month. We only had 2 sales this month,
2
as
sales, yeah,
opposed,
$252 and
there was a
$219.
grip
Oh, yeah, here's the
of
average.
sales
Yeah.
last.
Yeah, here it is. Sorry, 236 is the average. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the wrong thing here.
Yeah. So I mean, last month, you look at this month compared to last month, and we only had 2 on record to find for our show here. So averaging at 236.49. But last month, man, we had 9 sales last month, and that average was 228. So I mean, it's surprising to me that this has actually jumped ahead of the 2022 box
Yeah, I
for
was
the
just going
month.
to say it's now above the 2022, but averages, you know what I mean? If there's
Sure.
only 2 sales, excuse me, we don't really have a true sort of indicator. At least with the 9, we're getting a little closer to coming into a number that we can feel comfortable with.
Yep.
Okay,
Agreed.
sir. So that's it for the index. Now you want to get into the fun stuff. We had a big month of sales, dude. Like there's some nice.
Well, you know, every month we keep saying we have big months in sales, and that's kind of what I'm expecting every month now. We always seem to.
Well, we had
It's,
three
it's
10-figure.
becoming
We
it's
had 3
becoming a
5-figures. We had 3 5-figure sales this month. That's not normal.
that's well true, but
It's happened once, maybe.
having any 5-figure sales seems to be a monthly happening for us in wrestling like that. So it's always nice to see that. It really is.
Right. So you want to go backwards? That's your
Yeah,
new thing?
absolutely.
The Casey Kasem way, 10.
Okay, that's right.
Number
Coming
10.
in at number 10.
There we go. Number 10, 2022 Seth Rollins Immaculate Patch Autograph 1 of 1. And I suspect that could have been anybody in the higher tier of wrestlers. That card's going to be worth 25.50, which is a number.
Yep.
But good for Seth Rollins. You know, like he's going to be a guy who's going to be in that. You know, I think he's going to be a big name in the future. You know, with a lot of guys that we see today. You know, Roman's the big name, obviously.
Yeah, but you know, it's like kind of I would think the same way, but I almost put Rollins in the same boat as like a Shawn Michaels, and we don't see a lot of big sales for Shawn, and I don't know why that is. It's a weird thing within the hobby of like these legendary people that you would think would
Yeah.
be in this upper echelon of you know, sales, and we just don't see it. You
No,
just
there's a
don't see it.
secondary tier. You're right. With the Steamboats, the Guerreros, the Shawn Michaels, even the Bretts, you know, like
Yeah.
that just aren't Hogan, Rock, Austin, Cena, Andre. You know what I mean? They're just not
Yep.
that. You know what I mean? And that might be forever. Like that might be the tier. Now, is Roman in that tier as yet? I think the Mr. McMahon Transcendents are in that top tier of names on a card, but time will
I
tell.
think
But my point
I
is
think they
that
are in the top
that's
tier,
a
and I
big
think
number.
they're I do think they're top tier. But McMahon's like that. And we can have a whole conversation about McMahon all the time, and I just think
Yes.
that to this day, so many collectors sleep on that. And I think that 5, 10, 15 years down the road from now, they're going to go, damn, I should have bought them when they were a grand.
Yeah, well, Ryan just got one. I think
Yeah, he did.
he got a graded one, and I think he was just over $1,000. So that was a phenomenal
Yep.
purchase because nowhere to go but up on those.
Mm-hmm.
Number
Number
nine,
nine.
number 9 is a 1982 Ric Flair Cosmos PSA 9. It sold for $4,000. You know all about the Cosmos. They've
Yep.
done okay. You've done okay with them.
Yep.
That was for a Flair. Number 8 is interesting because it's a sticker, and we don't normally have stickers. I don't think we've ever had a sticker, have we? Turn up in our top 10.
I don't recall everyone being there. You're right.
A 1985 Hulk Hogan OPC, not tops, sticker PSA 10. Get this, $44.95. So almost
That's
4,500
incredible.
bucks for a mint Hogan sticker OPC.
That's incredible. Love seeing it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm not as well versed in figures as you and some other guys are in the hobby. I've just never gotten into them. I have the stickers that come as part of master sets for the stuff, and I have that Hogan sticker, and it's going to be an OPG. It's not graded a 10, but it might do one day. But that's a big number for sure.
It's a huge number. I mean, and stickers are weird. Like I saw when we were at the National this year, someone had those Topps 2006 Heritage or 2007 Heritage stickers. You know, the colorful ones with the red and yellow.
Yeah.
I
remember we talked about how expensive. That's right.
Yeah, I can't remember what the guy was asking for. Do you remember
Yes,
what
$2
it was?
grand. And you looked at me and you said,
$2,000,
"What the fuck is this?" Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've got dozens of these, man.
I know. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, nice to see Hogan not only killing it in cards, but killing it in stickers. Next one is again Hulk Hogan. We got 4 Hulk Hogans coming up.
Five Hogans in the top 10, folks.
Yeah, which is not unusual, you know.
No.
Number 7, 2013 Hulk Hogan Upper Deck PMG, the Beckett BGS 8 went for $5,000. We know that's a hugely popular card. The one above that is our standard 82 Hogan Wrestling All Stars BGS 8.5. It went for $6,000. And number 5
numbers keep jumping up, man. The numbers keep jumping up. I love this.
Yeah, number 5 was a 1982 Hulk Hogan Cosmos PSA 8. So as we were just talking about the Flair, and you know about good PSA numbered Hogans. This one went for $6,000. You know, so in the span of like a few days, we had an All-Star, a PMG, and a Cosmo go for 5,000, 6,000, 6,000. And I remember I tweeted that at that time that is anyone paying attention to this? Like these are fucking massive numbers, you know, for wrestling cards that are happening regularly.
Now, and granted, we've had these discussions before where we get accused of not really reporting the stuff that goes for low, bargain deals kind of thing, and the market's falling, and that's correct. It probably is on a lot of things, but we're trying to show that there's still strength in our hobby, in this hobby, with numbers like this that we never used to have on a regular basis. Now, granted, we didn't keep records like we do for the past 2 years on the regular every month to kind of weigh what's happening in the hobby, but this is a good indication that wrestling is strong, and we want to report those strong numbers. And yes, there are deals to be had galore out there, and by all means, go out and buy all that stuff that's going down in value. Have fun with that, but by and large, wrestling as a whole is super strong, and these numbers every month will show you that.
And it's what we said earlier, just a few minutes ago. You know, it's what I do in my day job. The good stuff always sells.
That's right.
There's always a market for the top stuff.
Yep.
Number 4 on our list was a sale at the very beginning of the month. Our good friend Jamie Wallace sold his 1985 OPG Randy Savage for, it was a PSA 10 for $7,015. You know,
it's great. Big
money.
To see Savage in the top 10 is always wonderful too, because unfortunately Savage falls in that second tier type level, I think, in the higher end stuff.
All right, dude. Now I've got something a little special for us when we talk about number 3. You know, something that we don't normally do, but hang tight. We got a special guest that's coming on, and here he is. Well, hey Joey, thanks for joining us. Listen,
Hello.
man, we do our pricing every month. You know, we get most of our numbers as we talk about from eBay Souls and 130 Point. But a lot of times we hear about private sales, but we often don't talk about them because they're hard to substantiate and hard to verify unless you happen to know the other party. You know, just rumors. A lot of that happened in the early Prism days where you'd hear stuff and it's like, no, I'm not going to report on that because, you know, who knows, a guy heard from a guy kind of thing. But a rumor started in the Brotherhood earlier this month about a big, I mean, real big MJF sale. And the name Joey Graben came up. So you know what? I'll stop talking and let you go. Tell us what are you up to now?
This right here is the card. This is the 2018 Limitless MJF PSA 9 that just hit the market recently. Just was graded recently, and obviously I'm a big fan of the guy. And when it became available, I had no choice. I had to at least try. And thankfully, Tony from the Brotherhood and myself, we were able to come up to an agreement. And yeah, this I guess would be the first indie card to hit 5 figures. It's a $10,000 card. $10,000
on the nose.
What's it?
I said 10 on the nose.
Yep.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
This is a big event. Like, I mean, what you've probably got the second highest card anyways, because I know you're invested in the precious metal gems. Like you've got a bunch of MJF cards, and I know you've paid a few bucks for some of those as well, right? But this is quite a jump going from sort of that to this, you know, and there's not a lot in between.
I'll be completely honest. I'm pretty sure that's the most I've ever paid for a card, for any
Really?
card. Yeah.
Really?
Luckily, I mean, everything else I have, I was able to get in fairly early on.
Sure.
So, you know, this right here, again, you know, find another one. They're hard to find. You won't. You can't find one. You can barely find them raw, you know.
Yeah.
And
it's like Drake's Vince Transcendent, the Superfractor, you know, like it's going to stay with him forever. And every day he keeps it, it's worth more.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this MJF is young.
Yeah.
He's going to be around for years. You know, and what I really like, I like the fact that he makes me believe, okay, which is what I loved about wrestling when I was a kid. Okay, he pulls you in and you believe everything that's happening, and that's what I love about professional wrestling. So, you know, it's you get the opportunity to buy the best card of one of your favorites, you don't say no. You figure it out and you make it.
You don't.
Well, you know, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, that's great, dude. Listen, thanks for hopping on quickly with us. I thought it'd be a nice treat for everyone to hear directly from the gentleman's mouth himself. New indie card record sold in the wrestling card hobby. The one and only king of the indie hill, Joey Graben, $10,000. Congratulations to Tony O as well. I'm glad that you both did business that you were happy with. And yet another watershed mark from Joey Graben. Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Joey, for coming on, man. What a surprise. And congratulations to you on the sale of or the purchase of your $10,000 MJF card.
That's incredible, man. That is incredible.
First ever indie card to hit 5 figures. And, you know, go figure. Joey Graben, always a culprit.
Yeah. Like, I like it. It's surprising, yet not surprising, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks again, Joey, for coming on. Really appreciate it, dude. Number 2. 1982 Andre the Giant Wrestling All-Stars BGS 9.5. And there was a lot of talk as to, you know, where would that be PSA wise, but $23,400. Like that's a massive number.
That's a massive, nothing to sneeze
at. We've seen bigger Andres, but that's just a big number to wake up to one morning to say, hey, an All-Star sold for this.
Yep. It's a great number. Love seeing that, man. The Wrestling All-Stars. It lives forever, man.
I mean, we talk about the WCW autographs, but the All-Stars really are the set for being graded and hitting these big knock yourself out kind of numbers.
Absolutely.
You know? We talked about this before. Does the Rock Black Prism sell again for 125? And we're not so sure.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's irrelevant, actually.
Does the top Hogan graded card go for 50 to 60? And the answer is yes, because it's done so several times now.
Yeah.
You know. I get what you mean when you say it doesn't matter, but it's fun. You know, that's
what. No, I mean, speculation.
You can't compare one to the you can't compare one to the other, and you can't. It's hard to comment on a unicorn, like you say, a one of one to the right collector. You know, could be The Rock himself for all we know, you know, could throw the numbers right out. You know,
And that card will probably never be sold again anyways. I mean, the person who bought it, it's probably a grail for them. That's what they wanted. So
correct.
Congratulations to them. It's a one and done, just like the card itself.
Exactly. And finally, drum roll, please. Number one was the 1981 Hulk Hogan Poppy Kajiwara, a PSA 10, and that sold through Golden for a remarkable $31,720. And we've seen this Poppy do well before, but it's a real big number. You know, we've never seen a Poppy sell anywhere as close to this. Now, it was a PSA 10, but again, 31,720 is our sale of the month, and that's for a Hogan.
That is an insane amount, man. Insane amount.
A Hogan went for 31 grand. A Hogan went for 6 grand. A Hogan went for 6 grand. A Hogan went for 5 grand. A sticker went for $4,500. So if there's anybody that doesn't know who the biggest name in wrestling memorabilia is, you know, there you have it.
There you have it. Proof
So
of the
there's a
pudding.
top 10. Thanks again to Joey. Yeah, let's move on. Next topic. You want to talk about Leaf?
Yeah, let's talk about that Leaf and this Dwayne Johnson. I know our show notes indicate it as The Rock, but let's be honest, it's not The Rock, it's Dwayne Johnson. And there seems to be like this holy shit moment with people, and rightfully so, but it's not The Rock signing a Rock card. It's going
not
to
like
be
the comic images.
correct. So this is a big deal, and it's probably a stepping stone in the right direction. And congratulations to Leaf on making this happen. I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion, I think, in some degree.
Well, let me say this, you know, like, all due respect to Leaf and to Brian, but they've been very consistent in the way they've released their products, especially with wrestling. Like, you know, they've done a few dedicated sets, you know, and then this year Brian Gray retires. New blood comes in, and next thing you know, they're signing Dwayne Johnson. And then the next thing I see that they're doing a Hulk Hogan / Stallone card together as for Rocky theme. And I'm wondering, does this spell bigger and brighter things for Leaf in general? You know, you might say it's blown out of proportion, but
well, my understanding
too is that cats at the helm are doing things. Now all they got to do is start making their cards look a little more like Upper Deck and Panini, and then they can contend. You know, because they got everything in place.
Rewind.
Okay.
You're making comments acting like that this company and the new people in charge made this stuff happen. Brian has publicly said that he made these things happen while he was still CEO.
Okay.
These were already in play when he was still with Leaf. So the new regime is now kind of getting this benefit of like, oh, well, it's like an incoming president, you know, from an outgoing president. New policies were put into play from the outgoing president. The new incoming president now gets to reap all the benefits of all like, well, the economy's doing great. This is doing great. Yeah, but these were things that were put in play before you got in the office, sir. And so that's kind of what's happened here, I think, is that Brian had these deals in place already done, and now he steps aside. The new regime comes in. They're like, hey, look at us. Look what we did. And but Brian's been very vocal about how this was all kind of things that he signed and got done. And congratulations to them no matter what. I don't care who the hell.
I haven't followed the story. Is there any animosity or anything like that? Or is Brian
No, it seems to be
how it happened? Because you would think that if he did that he'd be the first guy he would have stuck around.
Well, someone made a comment. I think someone made a tweet or an X, whatever the hell you want to call them. And Brian chipped in like that. It's like, no, I made this happen. I put this deal in place while I was still the CEO, it's like that. And someone kind of bickered with him back and forth on it. He just kind of stood his ground and said, no, I put this in play while I was still CEO with the company.
Good for him, because it's an accomplishment, because I would have thought someone at the Rock's level or Dwayne Johnson's level was untouchable, and it would have happened by now, that the Paninis of the world, the Fanatics of the world, or whoever, you know, dangles the fishhook, would have made that happen. So the fact that it was Leaf, you know, and there's all this talk about Fanatics consolidating, you know, WWE suing such and such, and we know where it's all going, and of course Upper Deck still exists, but it's kind of cool to me that to know that Leaf is a player, you know, a little more than 100%. I might have thought them to be ahead of time. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be very limited, the ones that they make with Austin and Hogan and Dwayne Johnson together.
My understanding is that's a one-on-one card, my understanding.
Yes. And that's going to be a very, very desirable card to somebody, you know. But this is Leaf we're talking about. So good on them that they're getting a spotlight.
I think it's great for the hobby as a whole. It's great for the hobby as a whole. But let's push a little bit on the brakes a little bit like that and wait and see, does this set up for potential sign the Rock card from top? So whoever's going to end up with this license at some point in time and print out the next set of wrestling cards for WWE, it's a very good step, and
Yeah, it shows
hats
he's
off
not
to Leaf.
reticent to put his name on a card. There was obviously legal reasons or political reasons or whatever.
Sure.
Reasons why it hasn't happened up until now, and he's still
Well,
with it.
obviously they
He's
can't
still-
put the Rock. Leaf can't put the Rock,
No,
which is
we
crazy to
know
me. They
that,
can use an
but-
image of it, but
we've had plenty of WWE cards over the last few years, and
Yeah.
it's never happened. So, and there's a reason why it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And it seems to me it's not because The Rock is reticent to sign a card, which is nice to see.
Yeah, good.
I thought it was a coup for Leaf, to be honest with you, because we don't really look at them in the same regard as we do the Upper Decks and Paninis and Tops. Whereas,
don't.
their very first series of wrestling I thought was great because they went and got a lot of the signers, a lot of the old timer guys, a lot of
Mhm.
legends and stuff that never signed on cards or do it a lot. But it was very cartoony, they've made some nice looking cards,
They sure have.
but they don't make Panini level nice.
It was a difference.
and-
Like, I think people had a difference of opinions on it. I think a lot had to do with, just like you said, the caricature type style,
Correct.
the artwork style, and they
Yeah.
were not traditional trading card sizes.
And smaller
Uh,
sizes, correct.
yeah,
And that
yeah.
kind of sort of fringed them out to me. But now that I see what they're doing, and again, I own plenty of Leaf autographs,
Mm.
and that's what they are. It's autographs. There's
Mhm.
a few base cards, but it's basically autograph product.
Yep.
But I do think it's a big deal, and I say congratulations to Leaf, and I throw out a well done, sir, to Brian Gray, sitting on the sideline, sitting on a beach somewhere. But well done that you were able to get that together, because that is a very positive thing for the hobby. And I think
think so, too.
Adam's chasing down the president of Leaf anyways, and he's going to do something soon, isn't he?
I think so. I think that's
He's
the rumor I hear.
he's got a video plan coming up, so stay tuned for that, and he'll give you all the skinny on that in detail.
Yeah, it's the rumor I hear. So yeah, it's all good. It's like that. Love to hear from the new people there to see what their intents are and what their direction is going to be going forward.
So
Maybe
that's
they'll
it.
maybe they'll clear the air. So
Yeah. Now, do you had something on your mind you wanted to chat about? Something's
I
weighing on
do.
your shoulders, I get the sense.
I do, and you're probably going to be a little bit taken by this. So let me start off, because by saying that well, we all know the divide that we have here within this hobbyist like that, and every time you think that we're turning a corner and we're things are quieter and we're making strides in doing better as a community, shit starts to hit the fan again. And then it gets raised to a level, and I know it's just a certain group of people out there that want to start, swinging at each other. It's like that. And sometimes I just want to, throw them all in a ring and put it on pay-per-view and make some money off of it. But it just weighs on you. It's like that. And it makes me want to have to go back and reflect on what it is that I want to continue to keep doing within this hobby. It's like that. So what I do want to say is that, WTC as a whole doesn't cater to any specific type of wrestling cards. So it's always been, we will always be an unbiased objector to whatever card information you're looking for. We don't care if you like indie wrestling cards, mainstream wrestling cards, vintage, modern, tops, panini, Japanese, or any other type of wrestling cards. We simply gather facts and information about wrestling cards, and we report if it's new, old, so that new, old, or returning or casual collectors. So it's there to help them. We've always been about helping. So, we spent more time doing this than any other publisher, blogger, social media hound, or any other public resource in the world. Facts. It's just facts. We've been doing it for a long, long time. Cute little acronyms about who we are, and with the sole purpose of try to discredit us simply, to work on those who, love like they live in high school. I don't cater to that stuff. There's a reason we don't associate with these individuals, and it's because we grew up past 1996. To be honest with you, we service a broader scope. Okay, the majority of the collecting community is met, and we don't pamper or take a knee to any big mouth crybabies who are fueled with jealousy and have and some strange obsession of being looked upon as some king sitting on this made up throne of the wrestling card community. And there's they act as if there's some kind of pecking order to this hobby that everybody must fall in line with. Don't agree with it. Doesn't exist. It's a hobby. We love it because it brings something to us because we're passionate about it. You know, it's a hobby, and WTC does its absolute best working with the brightest individuals and collectors, the passionate collectors who want nothing more than to help and better the community with better information for today's collectors and for future collectors. I mean, really, we're laying down you for the price guide, myself with WTC and the team of people which you're a part of, to lay down a foundation for long when we left this planet, to give them information for new collectors who come in and want to learn about this wonderful hobby. There's no sides in providing accurate information. Let's be clear about that. There's never sides about providing accurate information. Accurate information is accurate information. The facts, and there's no non-facts, okay? They're just facts. We never, and we never will say, we know more than anyone else in the hobby. Those kind of clown statements are left for those who actually believe their own bullshit. That's fact. That's just the way it is. You know, to suggest that WTC rests with any one side is in some made up division, which is just personal beefs between certain individuals. Who simply don't like each other. Is ludicrous, asinine, and just outright misguided. I gave individuals a small playlist. I call them playlists. You know, I refer to them as channels, you know, to share information that you can choose to listen to or not listen to, just like any TV program, any radio show, about areas of the hobby that other individuals know nothing about and still don't. Okay. And that's just fact. Still don't. They're fed information from people that they think know a lot about it, and some of them do know a lot about it. But that's neither here nor there. You know, if this sets people off with delusions of camps, then that's more telling of who they are and what they are than anything else. I don't like it. If you don't like it, change the fucking channel, man. That's all I can tell you. These funny little acronyms that are made up by individuals pretending to be adults, it's high schoolish level stupidity. The old saying that haters are going to hate, let them. WTC was here long before these snot-nosed individuals were slinging out childish cries of acceptance of me. I know more than anyone. They can hate all they want. They still watch. They still listen all the time. The analytics show it. When I look at the analytics, I see where people are at throughout the entire globe and who's watching and using the website. So stop acting like you don't use it, okay? You know, all this is really, Paul, all this is really for me to make some kind of announcement right now. And for me, I think effective immediately. I don't think I no longer want to be making monthly recap shows or conducting interviews. My focus needs to go back to what it used to be. My focus is to be solely on continuing to update and archive the world's best resource for wrestling cards, which is WTC, which stands for Wrestling Trading Cards. Others can rehash the topics we've already covered. I see it happening all the time. We talk about WCW autograph cards. Somebody else has got to go and talk about it. It's like, set the record straight. Whatever. And good. I'm glad there's content. There's content out there. You know, people can go and cover all the stuff they want. We've covered the controversy we've already debunked and pretend to be setting the record straight all they want. I believe we've covered a ton of ground on almost every aspect of this hobby, doing so when nobody but one other person that I can think of, and that would be Zan Morning, who runs an amazing show, Wrestling with Cards, was covering this stuff, you know, exclusively. Can you think of anything, Paul? I can't.
Nope.
I love that there are,
and he does it in a good way.
100%.
Zan doesn't get caught up in nonsense, you know?
Correct. You know, and I'm not going to be caught up in nonsense anymore. Going forward, I'm just done. You know, I love that there are tons of options now for collectors to go for, you know, entertainment and hopefully some educational information. Card Foundation podcast, Zan, of course, Wrestling with Cards, Tom over at Collector Palooza, Mike at Mike's Retro is, you know, getting into doing wrestling stuff. You know, this didn't exist when WTC started doing them. Okay. That's just facts, you know? So I'm so happy now to see that we started something that has created other people who want to voice their opinions and talk about the hobby and educate people. And as long as that's going on and not the shit slinging back and forth all the time, then collectors will be pleased and get the information hopefully they need. You know, I understand that this is a wrestling, so like the wrestling business, never say never. But I kind of have to sit there and just kind of sit and put a line in the sand right now and say this is where I'm kind of done with it right now. You know.
Wow, big announcement.
Yeah, you know, for you, Paul, I've enjoyed doing these with you for so long. I encourage you to keep doing them if you want to keep doing them. You've been taking the brunt of the work. For people who don't know, you know, Paul's been recording these on his end now and doing a lot of the editing to help alleviate a lot of the stress and burden on me, which I can't thank him enough for, because it's so much easier for me to just grab a file from him, download it, and then upload it to the page and be done with it. It saves me so much time. You know, so I'll gladly house any episode on WTC TV that you or anybody else ever wants to put out there to get information out there. I mean, you yourself, Paul, provided amazing insight on the hobby, and your dedication to this hobby is only matched by a select few. I mean, and all those people are gladly helping out WTC on a daily basis. So I say this to you, and I wish Chuck was here for this episode right here now too. Like this hobby has brought me so many cool things and experiences, but all of them fall short and all of them fall short of getting to know both you and getting to not only call you guys my friends, but my brothers. Yeah. And there's nothing any basement dwelling, jealousy filled, loudmouth wannabe, know-it-all can say, do, or try to be cute with their childish behavior that will ever change that. I love both you guys like family. And that's kind of the end of my soapbox TED Talk. Thank you for attending.
Yeah, like, you know, something's been brewing, you know, and, you know, you and I had a bit of a difference of opinion, but I figured, you know what, I don't want to argue about this for the next couple of weeks. I know that it's difficult.
No, that's what's good about you and I is that, you know, when something bothers you and I, we get on the phone and we call each other and we talk about it like men.
But I understand completely. I respect your decision. I will keep on with the collector series. I believe I'm going to miss doing these monthly shows with you. I'm going to miss talking about this stuff, but you know, you never say never. It's wrestling. We might decide to go to a quarterly format down the way. But
exactly, that's why I say you're right. I'm always going to throw the never say never quote out there.
Yeah, I think it's good that maybe you take a step back. One, so that you don't get caught in the middle of things, you know.
I've always tried, and you do it more than I do. And it's I don't know if it's a Canadian blood in you, what the hell it is, but at some point in time, you got to take a stance, and you have to call people out for their bullshit. And I'm still not going to do it. And I agree with you about being level-headed. We've had conversations in private, and you've talked me off the edge many times. I have a shit ton of tweets sitting in draft.
I know
that I have to think about.
But what did I say to you a couple of nights ago? I said, look, dude, you know, like if you want to let loose, let loose. So I guess this is you doing it, and good, because you should never, you of all people should never be put in a position, Tony, after everything you've done for the hobby, to be walking on eggshells or concerned about what I might think, to what Chuck might think, to what the whole thing's going on, because we've got something special, me and you and Chuck, and that's never going to go.
Absolutely. And I feel this show is a lot of this. I feel a lot.
Hello?
The original goal, which is to update WTC to be what it has been for over 20 years and to continuously keep trying to make it better, to work in unison with you from the price guide so that we're in sync together and we're providing that information for collectors.
That's not going to stop.
That's never going to stop. But I feel like I've taken some steps back because I get caught up in the bullshit. You know, we end up having these conversations, these text messages going back and forth. And it just, it makes me not want to be part of the hobby anymore.
I hear you.
I know for a fact it makes Chuckster not want to be part of the hobby anymore.
Oh no, it bothers him to no end. I mean,
and he and I had a big heart-to-heart conversation yesterday, last night, which prompted me to actually just open up and then you know, write down my thoughts, and to kind of address this issue now. And that I think that I need to take a step back and focus on the website and just focus on that. Chuckster and I have been working.
Focus on the store. Don't worry about the shit of other people. Like, I mean, my perspective is that I understand Adam and Ryan having a beef with Mike the Cleaner and
sure
and all this stuff. You know, sometimes people just don't groove and they don't like each other.
Nothing wrong with that.
But you know what? they're their beefs. There's a lot of people that don't like each other, and I like both of them, and so I don't get caught up in them. And insofar as the stuff that we do here, WTC to me has always been something where we don't take sides and we are neutral. And I never want to be put in a position where I have to worry about what I'm doing on this channel and think twice about
Correct.
it. So it's important to me that people understand that you can have your beefs, but I'm simply not sympathetic to them because if you have a beef with someone, you can make it go away real easy by never engaging again. But these guys continually engage over and over and over again. And I'm not assessing blame. I'm not saying it's one side versus the other. And I got great respect for Retro Mike and what he's done on his channel, bringing wrestling content. But I don't like the negativity that is brought by people. I've been cut off by the guy the same, and it's too bad because I've never ever. I don't think done anything to hurt anyone. I've just tried to contribute to the hobby in a positive way because I've been at it for so long. So
I agree with you.
If this is a sort of final goodbye, I'd like to say to all you guys out there, thank you very much for all the time that you've given us, that you've spent watching us. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to do that. And you, sir, same thing. It's been an absolute blast. And this isn't the end of anything to do with me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We've got a card set coming out in a couple weeks.
So you know what? Maybe we'll do another video here shortly. I think we're going to do another video where we're going to discuss that because I want to break that down and discuss the process in that one a little bit too. It's like that and the excitement we have about doing this.
You need to take a break from all the nonsense, and I completely understand.
Well, I gotta refocus. Talking with Chuckster and Ice like that, we're like, you know what do we love about this hobby?
Yeah.
Because clearly there's people out there who just don't know how to shut their mouths and want to continuously make point fingers, sling shit at each other when they just shut the fuck up and actually run your business, run your podcast, collect the way you collect, and just don't worry about what other people are doing. This place would be a lot better off. Just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. No one needs to hear your whining, bitching, complaining, and just shut up. Ignore it, but you can't because you're in high school still. So, we're going through right now, and Chuck and I, we've probably updated damn near 50 sets we've gotten done. And thanks to Rich Veligan too, like that, because we're working with him as well.
You guys are making a great progress.
We thought it was going to take us till sometime at the end of the year to get through all this stuff. We might be finished by the end of this month. Wow. But we're making a lot of progress, and I've got so many emails. When I sit there and look back, and I got over 100 plus emails of checklists I haven't gotten to, and information I haven't gotten to, and images I haven't gotten to, and I look at it, I kind of go, man, I'm so tired. I'm so drained because this hobby brings me no fucking joy right now. None. Zero.
Take a step back.
And it's unfortunate. It's like, it's almost like finding out your wife's cheating on you kind of thing. It just, it hurts. And it's just, it's not fun. And I want it to be fun for me. And what's fun for me more than anything else, as far as a collecting standpoint, is collecting information. I like that we do what we do to help better other people's collections and give them knowledge. And that's all this channel's ever been about, whether you agree or disagree with myself, Paul, Adam, Ryan, Caleb. It doesn't matter. I don't care who, Zan, doesn't matter who. Just turn it off then, and go do your thing. But I can't be part of that right now. I need to take a step back, and I'm going to work on continuing to make WTC what it has been for over 20 years. And that's the best resource for checklists and information. And with that, I think we've covered it all. I think so. I don't think that this is a final goodbye, but no. This is a temporary signing off. And once again, Tony, to you and to everyone that's ever watched us, thanks for everything. It's been an absolute blast, guys. We're out.